up your engine!
Here's some interesting news. Toyota and Mazda say they're throwing another $830 million into their Alabama crossover plant. Toyota and Mazda have a deal going, and they're making cars in Alabama. And they're making both the Mazdas and the Toyotas in the same assembly line. They're both going to be crossover cars. Mazda was going to make crossover SUVs. Toyota was going to make Corollas, but Toyota decided, oh, heck, we'll make crossover SUVs here too. So that means they're putting $2.3 billion into the plants in Alabama. In the past, some Mazdas, they made a lot of mistakes decades ago. Now they got a relationship going with Toyota, and it seems to be helping both companies. Engine technology is going from Mazda to Toyota. Mazda's getting some Toyota technology, transmissions and stuff. So, how these vehicles come out when they're done making a factory and actually building the cars. We'll see. Can they make them together in Alabama? Well, they're putting the money in the United States. They're not stupid. They're not going to be worrying about tariffs and stuff because they'll be building them in Alabama. They're not building them in Japan and then shipping them over here. The Japanese are very good businessmen. They do that all over the world. They're not going to throw you out of your country when you have factories in their country employing their workers and building cars in the country. It only makes sense. Why do you think GM makes a whole bunch of cars in China? They don't sell them over here yet. They sell them only in China. But take the reverse there. Also a smart move. They don't want to be thrown out of China, so they're making the cars in China. Well, here Mazda and Toyota are making them in Alabama, putting a lot of money in it too. Here's an interesting thing that didn't come to pass, and I say it's a good thing it done. Turns out that Japanese government officials were trying to put Nissan and Honda to merge together. All this virus stuff and the economy the way that it's going, and Nissan's been going downhill for a really long time. It didn't come to pass, and of course now Nissan, Honda, and the Japanese officials aren't talking to anybody, but the government officials wanted to make a merge to make a bigger company so it would help prop up Nissan. Honda doesn't need any help, but Nissan did. Well, all I have to say is kudos probably to the Honda executives who realized it'd be kind of stupid to merge with Nissan, a company that's known for having poor quality, has problems selling their vehicles, has dated looking vehicles. Honda's a good company, and they make more motors than anybody in the world every year. Gas motors, diesel motors, motors for everything, cars, trucks, lawnmowers, generators, you name it. Honda makes it. Why would they want to merge with Nissan? It would be dumb on their behalf. And like I say, much to the intelligence of the Honda officials, they didn't merge with them, and I think that was a very smart move. A lot of these people think, oh, merging, that's the thing of the future. Let's all merge, blah, 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 blah. No, it isn't always a good thing. It doesn't always work out right. Captain Horde 1000 and Scotty, love your channel. You previously correctly diagnosed the electrical problem in my 2016 Volvo V40 here in Great Britain. I couldn't get it to run right. You said change the battery. Now it runs perfectly, even though the battery health said 60% and the voltage was 12.5 volts. I don't understand why, if the battery's within tolerance, it could cause problems. But the main thing, it's fixed. Thanks. Well, here is why. Modern cars are all computer run. That is a 2016 Volvo. It has an exceptionally large amount of computer modules in the car, more than just one. They require both the correct amount of voltage and the correct amount of amperage from the battery. And if they don't receive that, they're below a certain parameter, things won't work right. The computer, which has to have the right electricity, has to send the right electricity to the fuel injectors, to the ignition system, to the controls of the automatic transmission. Any of those don't get enough, it's not going to run, ride, shift right. That's just how things are these days. That's what I tell people. If you ever get oddball problems in your car, first thing you do, have the battery load tested and the alternator load tested. It takes a mechanic like 5 minutes to do that. And rather than spend hours at $120, $30 an hour analyzing stuff, you do that in the first place. And you find that, oh, well, the battery's weak. The alternator's not charging. Fix the simple things first. Always start basic and work up. And since cars are so complex, the first basic thing is battery voltage and amperage to test, because if that's bad, all kinds of weird stuff can happen. See It Now 171 says my brother-in-law bought a 2013 Nissan Juke. It's got a turbo, but it's front-wheel drive. He bought it with 100,000 miles for $5,000. He said it was cheap. Do you think he got ripped off? He already had to replace both control arms. At least it's your in-law. And you're not related biologically to him, because boy did he make a stupid mistake. Those things are terrible vehicles. They're okay when you get them new. And you can drive them maybe 100,000 miles, sometimes less, but a lot of times they'll make it to 100,000 without too many problems. Then they start to fall apart, as he's found. The control arms already had to be changed. On a 2013. I've seen 30-year-old Toyotas, Hondas, still have the original control arms. Need I say more? It's just a good thing you're not biologically related to your brother-in-law. Bad Bunny 123 says, I replaced the left rear wheel bearing in my Lexus IS 250 all-wheel drive a couple months ago, but the ABS brake and traction light comes on. To check VSC and check all-wheel drive. Sometimes the lights come on and off, then they come on. What can I do? Let's pray you got the right wheel bearing, because a lot of times, let's say you didn't buy an OEM Lexus one because you thought it cost too much, and you bought an aftermarket one, probably made in China. If that wheel bearing doesn't have the correct parts in it, it will not be picked up by the ABS wheel speed sensor, and you won't get it. It wasn't made right. Now pray that maybe you just knocked the wire off and it's loose for the ABS sensor. Pray that. It'd be a lot easier to fix. Otherwise, you're going to have to take it all apart again, or you're going to have to live without traction control. It's all that wheel. The problem's in there where you were working. Or if you paid somebody, then they botched the job up. Your boy Louis says, Scotty, why don't I see Buick cars? I always see ads about the cars, but nobody buys them. What happened to Buick? Well, they don't make cars anymore. The last, in quotes, car they made was a station wagon, but it wasn't even a Buick. It was made in Germany, and they don't sell them here anymore. They only make SUVs. They pulled entirely out of the car market. Now understand, when my grandfather was young, there was actually a Buick company, but a long time ago, GM bought Buick, and the Buicks were just GMs, and they're getting rid of their cars just like Ford is. They're making all their profit on SUVs and trucks, and they're giving up on cars, sedans entirely. So, you're not going to see any in the future because they don't make them anymore. They didn't sell that many. The strangest thing is, one of the most popular cars in China are Buicks, but they're made in China. And the interesting thing is, they don't say Buick on them. They don't have the name Buick on them, but they have the Buick emblem because the Chinese like that emblem. It's like a status symbol. It's like in my grandfather's day, Cadillacs are seen as the bee's knees. Everybody wanted a Cadillac. Ooh, Cadillac of cars, right? Well, now in China, they're driving these Buicks that are made in China, but they don't say Buick, but they do have the Buick emblem on it. So it's a strange world, and it gets stranger every day. Here's one I can't resist. In the Bronx, firefighters smashed through the windows of a BMW to get the hose to the fire across the street because the BMW owner had parked his car in front of a fire hydrant. He claimed that his key fob broke and he couldn't start his car and had been there for 4 days. Well, he parked it there in the first place. So now, this has happened before at other places. It was also in Boston with another BMW. Says something about BMW drivers, doesn't it? They, of course, broke his windows because the fire hydrant was across the street from the fire, and if they would have gone over the hood or the back, he had parked right in front of it, would have kinked the hose and it wouldn't work as good. And I'm sure those firemen were laughing their butts off when they smashed the windows of the BMW, ran the hose the whole way through the thing. Now, the hilarious thing is, owner of the BMW shows the type of person that often drives a BMW. He was irate about it and said, they messed up my car. Where? He parked in front of a fire hydrant. I mean, it just shows. Those are like the people that you yell at them because they drive poorly, make a U-turn in front of you, make a left turn from the right lane, and you beep and yell at them, and then they give you the finger because, oh, they're in the right. They're driving their BMW wherever they want to. I find it amusing that the firefighters in the Bronx just broke the windows in it. And the same thing happened in Boston. It was also a BMW. So it says something about the type of person who drives BMWs. It is just making the stereotype of obnoxious BMW drivers go closer to the reality that it seems to actually be. It's more than coincidental that both of these cars were BMWs parked in front of a fire hydrant, one in the Bronx and one in Boston. Sweet revenge, say the firefighters. I'm sure they were laughing their butts off when they smashed those windows in. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.